guys, welcome back to episode 2 of my podcast. It seemed like you guys were interested. I'm going to look into actually making this a podcast probably in the next week or two, but for now, you can enjoy this YouTube version of it. So, today I'm going to be talking about the Beast of Gevaudan. I said it very fancy. This story takes place in France, so if I pronounce anything wrong, I'm sorry. Ahead of time. What was Gevaudan? It was once located in the southern region of France. Today, the area that was once Gevaudan is part of modern-day Lozère. In the mid-1700s, it was rural, forested region. The people largely enjoyed a quiet life of farm work. It had the reputation for being a remote, isolated backwater where the forces of nature had not been fully tamed, where the forests were indeed enchanted. Says J.M. Smith, a historian and the author of Monsters of Gevaudan, The Making of a Beast. It's fantasizing, it's powerful, it's scary, it's sublime. Woo, spooky. However, the end of Gevaudan's quiet reputation came in 1764. Between 1764 and 1767, a mysterious creature called the Beast ravaged the rural area of Gevaudan, France. About 100 men, women, and children reportedly fell victim to La Bête du Gevaudan. While many French at the time presumed the beast to be a wolf, and many modern scholars agree, some have suggested that the beast may not have been a wolf at all. The first recorded fatal attack of the beast occurred on June 30th, 1764, when a 14-year-old shepherdess, Jeanne Boulet, tended a flock of sheep. Boulet was not the creature's first victim. As historian J.M. Smith writes in Monsters of Gevaudan, about 2 months prior, a young woman tending cattle was attacked by a creature, like a wolf, yet not a wolf, but escaped because the herd defended her. The attacks continued through the summer and into autumn, according to George M. Ebert's 2002 book, Mysterious Creatures, A Guide to Cryptozoology. France was in a slump at the time on the heels of the 7 Years' War. The nation had lost battles to Prussia and the British, and Louis XV had lost overseas colonies. The beast offered a perfect foil to rally around, and there were no dearth of reports in the press about encounters with the animal. The Bête Féroce, or ferocious beast, attacked and partially ate women and the young, according to the reports. But lone adult men were also targets. There were so many attacks that some speculated there were in fact 2 or more beasts. The terrified populace of Gevaudan did not sit idle. They weren't just going to let this fly, and individual stories of bravery captivated the public. As Smith writes, bounties were offered, and hunters combed the countryside looking for the beast. On October 8th, 1764, hours after a mauling, the beast was seen at Château de la Baume, stalking a herdsman. Hunters followed the animal into the estate's woods and flushed the animal into the open. The hunters shot a volley of musket fire into the creature, but after a fall, the beast just got up and walked off. Well, I mean, didn't walk, but you know what I mean, left. Just, bye, bitch! As the head count rose in 1764, the local officials and aristocrats took action. Etienne Lafont, and a regional government delegate, and Captain Jean-Baptiste Duhamel, a leader of local infantry, organized the first concentrated attack. At one point, the number of volunteers rose to 30,000 men. Damn. Duhamel organized the men along military models, left poisoned bait, and even had some soldiers dress as peasant women in hopes that the creature would attack them. That's some dedication. A reward for killing the beast eventually equaled a year's salary for most working men. For men like Duhamel, the hunt was a way to redeem his honor after the war. There are many signs of wounded masculinity among the lead huntsmen, Smith says, especially Duhamel. He had a highly sensitive regard for his own honor and had some bad experiences in the war, and looked at this challenge of defeating the beast as a way to redeem himself. Even children were celebrated for taking on the beast. On January 12, 1865, the beast attacked 10-year-old Jacques Portefax and a group of 7 friends ranging from ages 8 to 12. However, Portefax led a counter-attack with sticks, driving off the creature. The children were rewarded by Louis XV, and Portefax was given an education paid by the crown. Yeah, go attack a wolf and they'll pay for your education. Just a thought. Like, my God. That sounds nice. The children's heroics prompted the court of King Louis XV to send royal hunters to destroy the beast. There was now a 6,000 liver bounty on the creature's head. The story of the beast, meanwhile, was spreading and covered in newspapers from Boston to Brussels, becoming one of the history's first media sensations. The beast and its victims have gone virtually unnoticed, if not for a burgeoning press. Because political news was mostly censored by the king, newspapers had to turn to other sources of information and entertainment to bolster subscriptions. Francois Morenis, creator and editor of the Courrier de Avignon, used a new type of reporting called faits divers, stories of everyday incidents in small villages similar to today's true crime, to tell the tale. His reportage in particular transformed the beast from a backwater calamity into a national affair. And I don't know why I keep doing a French accent every time there's French words, so if you are French, I'm sorry. Hopefully I'm not offending you too much. Among the most notable tales of bravery was when 19 or 20-year-old Marie-Jeanette Vallée was attacked by the beast on August 11th, 1765, while crossing the river Desgresse with her sister. Armed with a bayonet affixed to a pole, Vallée impaled the beast's chest. The creature got away, but Vallée became known as the Amazon and the Maid of Gevaudan. Today, a statue stands in her honor in the village of Auvers in southern France. Wow. Wish I could have a statue. Stab a wolf. Get a statue. Sounds pretty nice to me. For this, in February of 1765, the Envals, a father-son hunter duo from Normandy, announced they would travel to Gevaudan to eliminate the beast. Jean Charles, the father, boasted he already killed 1,200 wolves, relevant information assuming the predator was, in fact, a wolf. But no one was sure of that. "It is much bigger than a wolf," wrote Lafont in an early report. "It has a snout somewhat like a calf's and very long hair, which would seem to indicate a hyena." Duhamel described the animal as even more fantastical. In his words, it had the breast as wide as a horse, a body as long as a leopard's, and fur that was red with a black stripe. Duhamel concluded, "You will undoubtedly think, like I do, that this is a monster hybrid, the father of which is a lion. What its mother was remains to be seen." Other witnesses claimed the beast had supernatural abilities. It could walk on its hind feet, and its hide could repel bullets, and had fire in its eyes, and it came back from the dead more than once, and had amazing leaping ability. Whatever its origins or appearance, the hunters were determined to score their prize, but again and again they failed. On September 20th, 1765, Francois Antoine, the king's 71-year-old gun-bearer, and his nephew shot a large wolf near an abbey at Chesses, which was assumed to be the beast. Antoine was awarded with money and titles, and the corpse of the animal was stuffed and sent to the royal court. But attacks started again in December. According to an account in 1898 volume of the Partisan Illustrated Review, this time the beast seemed different, at least behaviorally. Where before the creature had been afraid of cattle, this time it showed no fear. Was this a second beast? For another 18 months, something continued to stalk the villagers of Gevaudan, with a reported 30 to 35 fatalities in this period. The king believed the beast had already been slain, so he offered little aid. He's like, who cares? The royal court chose to ignore these new attacks, insisting that Antoine had killed it. So they're like, who cares about you guys? We killed it. With no assistance coming from outside the region, locals took matters into their own hands, an option that may have been wiser from the beginning, since the previous hunters were unfamiliar with the landscape and had trouble communicating with locals. Local farmer Jean Chastel had been involved in a previous hunt, but was thrown in prison by Antoine for leading his men into a bog. Rude. Like, oh, you led us the wrong way? Prison. But his past crimes turned to bygones when he managed at last to bring the creature down with a bullet on June 19th, 1767, on the slopes of Mount Mouchet. An autopsy of the animal revealed human remains inside, and the animal had non-wolf characteristics as described by witnesses. The attacks ended. But while it was assumed that the beast Châtel-Bègue was the beast, doubts remained that it was indeed a wolf. The beast was consistently described by eyewitnesses as something other than a typical wolf. It was large as a calf, or sometimes a horse. Its coat was reddish-gray with a long, strong, panther-like tail. The head and legs were short-haired and the color of a deer. It had a black stripe on its back and talons on its feet. Many drawings of the beast at the time endow it with lupine characteristics. Witnesses described the beast as an ambush hunter which stalked its prey and seized it by the throat. The wounds found on the bodies were typically to the head and limbs, with the remains of 16 victims reportedly being decapitated. The creature prowled in the evenings and in the mornings. Historians, scientists, pseudoscientists, and conspiracy theorists have all proposed theories about what the beast was. Among the suspects are a Eurasian wolf, an armored war dog, a striped hyena, a lion, some kind of prehistoric predator, a werewolf, a dog-wolf hybrid, and a human. Of the candidates, the most fanciful is the werewolf. Smith points out that Chastel reportedly used a silver bullet to slay the wolf, thereby feeding into the werewolf mythology. Also unrealistic is that the beast was an extinct prehistoric predator such as a bear dog, a dire wolf, or a Gevaudan. This idea, such as a large animal would evade detection for thousands to millions of years, does not make a lot of sense. Not very plausible, but it would be kind of interesting to know that a dire wolf was just hanging out in France. Others have suggested a human serial killer may have been responsible for the attacks. Many of the beast's victims were reported to be decapitated, something few animals could do. While it is unlikely that a killer would roam about for victims in broad daylight, we believe the human killer used an animal to carry out the crimes. What was the animal? Some have speculated that it was an armored war dog, which explains its strange appearance and why it shrugged off musket shots. Some depictions of the beast and the animal slain by Chastel suggest it resembled a striped hyena. It is possible that a striped hyena may have been in a person's private holding and then escaped. Since it was not native to France, it would have appeared unusual. However, striped hyenas are not known to attack humans. Karl Hans Talk, a biologist and author of the Gevaudan tragedy, The Disastrous Campaign of a Deported Beast, argues the beast may have been an immature male lion. Like the hyena, it is possible that a lion escaped from captivity. The beast reportedly was an ambush hunter that seized prey by the neck and could possibly decapitate them. A lion, Take argues, could exhibit these predatory behaviors. Lions have been known to prey upon humans as food sources, such as the famous case of the lions of Tassavo, in which a lion pair killed over 130 victims in under a year. Wow. Another supporting fact is that the territory of the beast, at roughly 56 by 50 miles, aligns with a lion's typical range. Eyewitnesses in France at the time were likely not familiar with living lions, and what they did know about them came from very stylized imagery. A subadult male does not have a fully developed mane and sometimes has a mohawk-type stripe running down its back. This matches descriptions of the beast by eyewitnesses. Among the theories considered most credible is that wolves perpetrated the attacks. As Smith tells the Smithsonian, Gevaudan had a serious wolf infestation. He believes that the large, lone wolves were attacking individual communities across the region, or that it was a wolf pack. Smith asserts that many of the fantastical qualities attributed to the beast were introduced by clergy who stirred up fear in the populace that God was punishing the French for its defeat in the 7 Years' War. For hunters, killing the beast was a way of reclaiming France's lost honor. Wolves are native to the region and had attacked humans before. Some statistics show that wolves attacked humans 9,000 times in France between the 17th and 19th centuries. In most cases, these types of attacks were by rabid wolves. There are some potential flaws to the wolf theory, including the frequency of the beast's deadly attacks, suggesting it was not a single rabid wolf. Also, none of its victims seem to have contracted rabies, suggesting that their attacker also did not carry it. Although there are strong voices arguing theories about the identity of the beast of Gevaudan, all admit the truth will never be fully known. Without any genetic or forensic evidence, the beast of Gevaudan is bound to remain a mystery. So, what do you think? Do you think it was a werewolf, a hyena, a lion, or just your average wolf? Was it a wolf pack? A human? Who knows? I'd love to know your theories. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be doing another episode of this, hopefully soon. This will stay on YouTube for now, and then I will be looking into an actual podcast streaming service in the next week or two. If you have any suggestions on where I should put this, that would be really helpful. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later.